Hello and welcome back. On my previous video that I shared about Daniel's home birth, I found that I missed a lot of key details about his birth. Prior to finding out that we were pregnant with Daniel, our son Samson was praying for a baby brother. He specifically prayed for a baby brother named Daniel. Samson was only 4 years old at the time when he said his prayers for a baby brother. And so when we found out that we were pregnant, it was no surprise to him because he believed that God had answered his prayers. We did a blood test to figure out his gender. And when we announced it to the kids, Samson was the only one who was like, duh. It was no surprise to him that he was going to have a baby brother, because he had already prayed for a baby brother specifically and God answered his prayer. He believed that God answered his prayer. At that time, Samson's favorite Bible story was about Daniel in the lion's den. And so when we asked him why the name Daniel, he shared that he loved the character Daniel because he always prayed no matter what. We honored Samson's request to name our son Daniel because he truly was an answered prayer. And God answered our 4-year-old's prayer and answered our prayer for a midwife. As we prepared for Daniel's birth, we did have a lot of discussions with the kids, especially myself, letting them know what birth can look like, and also explaining about the placenta, the role of the placenta, the role of the umbilical cord, and that the baby is attached to the placenta via the umbilical cord. And when baby is born, normally their dad cuts the umbilical cord. And so while Samson was hearing this, he shared that he wanted to cut Daniel's cord. So when Daniel was born, after I transferred from the birth pool onto the bed, I did some skin to skin time with baby Daniel, and we waited until Samson was ready to cut the cord, since we did do delayed cord clamping. Once Samson was ready to cut the cord, I called my midwife in. They had left the room for a bit to give us a little bit of time to really soak in the moment of holding our baby that we worked so hard for. At this time, our two youngest, Harper and Ciala, were fast asleep. Harper was awake during the labor process, but she could not stay up until the baby was born. Only Samson stayed up till midnight. Daniel was born at 12:12 a.m. and Samson was so excited. So my midwife got everything ready, and Samson climbed up onto the bed, ready to cut Daniel's cord. Did you hear what she said?
Yeah.
So this is just a clamp.
See?
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sure that you don't get blood. Okay.
What is he doing?
You want to help him.
He was like,
Okay, you and Daddy gonna cut.
okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I know how to do it. Because every time when I have
Yeah. Okay. So right between this clamp and my fingers, kind of right in here. Okay.
How do I do it?
Right there.
Okay,
Okay.
press it.
Yep. You gotta just cut it like. Yeah. There
Hard.
you go. Your daddy can help you. Okay.
Ow!
Good.
That's blood on you, Mom.
It's okay.
It's okay, remember?
It's blood.
Okay.
It's okay.
I want to see what it looks like inside.
Okay, you can see.
Here, let me.
How's the wash gonna get off?
It's okay.
Tell me, Mama.
I'll tell you later, okay?
Where's the bowl?
He says,
Oops, sorry. You want this to just kind of wipe. Yeah.
After the cord was clamped, I passed the baby over to my husband. so that I could get checked by my midwives. We did a vaginal blood loss check. They also checked for the firmness of my fundus, which is the top of your uterus. And then they got me over to the bathroom to pee, and then put on one of those long pads along with the maternity underwear. I definitely did the Depends diapers, women's diapers. Those help a ton. In that way, when I'm going to the bathroom, I'm just changing the pad out each time. I did also make padsicles with lavender essential oil, aloe, witch hazel. You mix that and apply that onto a pad, put it back together, put it in the freezer until you're ready to use it. Then you'll take it out of the freezer for a little bit so it can defrost, and then use that in your women's diaper or your maternity underwear, whatever it is that you use. I will probably make a video of how to make those in the future, but those are my absolute favorite. With Daniel, I did have a little bit of a tear, but it wasn't anything that needed to be stitched. I just needed to limit my movements postpartum. While I was in the bathroom, another midwife was working with baby Daniel, checking his vitals and doing a full assessment on him, getting his weight, his height measured. The midwives left around 6 a.m., 6 to 7 a.m. is when they finally left. Again, we had Daniel at 12 a.m. And the reason why they were here for such a long time was they wanted to continue monitoring Daniel. Although he was able to breastfeed and he seemed to be doing well, they did find that his respiratory rate was a bit high. It was a bit faster than what they would like to see before they left. And so we made a decision to go ahead and transfer to the hospital. So we got Daniel packed up. Thankfully, we already had the car seat ready to go. We went ahead and checked in at the emergency room at the hospital. We got into the NICU and we were able to get Daniel some extra oxygen to help with his lungs. And he had, it's called neonatal transient tachypnea, or neonatal transient tachypnea, something of that sort. I will try to put that up here so that you can see what exactly that is. He just had a little bit of a hard time transitioning from the room to the world, and he needed a little bit of he needed extra oxygen. So we were in the hospital for 24 hours, and then we were home. Once we got home, our girls were excited to meet Daniel since they were fast asleep when he was. After being in the hospital for 24 hours, it was a lot to come back to the kids. Although I was excited to see them, it was a bit hard having to transition after giving birth, since we went to the hospital after having Daniel. And I did a lot of back and forth. I was walking back and forth from the NICU to our room, breast to keep up with my breastfeeding schedule with Daniel. So there was a lot of walking, and let me tell you, it definitely takes a toll on your body moving around like that within 24 hours of having a baby. So thankfully, my younger sister Kim volunteered to take our children over to her house so that I could get at least one night of complete bed rest. It definitely takes a village, so I'm thankful for my village of people who are always ready to help and support us in any way. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Comment down below if you have any questions about my home birth experience. I know that there's still a lot of details that are missing, so I may have another video next week. If not, I do have a fifth baby to share about, and that was another birth experience. So stay tuned.